Hey, ladies and gents. This is a difficult video to make. It'll become evident as I go on, but hopefully it makes sense and I can put it as simply as I can. But basically, as you know, last year 6 armed police arrived at my house. They had a warrant to search and remove my children and place them in emergency custody. And DHS, Kate Robinson, had an emergency accommodation application in the children's court. Now, what's interesting about that is that on the video she claims that she had evidence of neglect and abuse, and as early as the day before, she says in that previous video. And apparently she'd turned up to my house and I knocked on the door. She could hear me inside, but I didn't answer the door, so somehow that's abuse and neglect. Neglect is a strong word. It's criminal abuse, criminal neglect. It's a criminal charge. But apparently, children's courts are civil matters. They're not. It's DHS conducting a civil matter against me. But so I'm studying the law and Latin and lex mercatoria and business rules, copyright, policy enforcers. And basically what I found is the whole government are registered companies, just like McDonald's, and they're doing business and they're operating under rules. So take the police, for example. They're a registered private organisation masquerading as Australian police, and they're enforcing policies and road rules. So just like we play footy, soccer, netball, whatever, you have rules. If you do the wrong move, that's an illegal move. But the road rules is just like a game, and you have illegal things which they can fine you for, penalties. Only they don't send you off the field. They threaten to take you to court and put you in jail if you don't pay the fine. Well, that's actually human trafficking. To put someone in jail for money or not paying money, that is human trafficking. And we do have laws for human trafficking, and we don't need new ones because human trafficking is already discussed. Quite lengthy, and that detail is called slavery. And bonded slavery is basically what we're in under our birth certificate extract, which is our birth name registered as a company, and you get the extract, not the birth certificate, the extract. And then everything you do with the government, you're regarded as trading. You're in business with them, and therefore you fall under their rules. Now, the rules apply to the employees of the company. However, we're not employees of the company. So therein lies the problem, that there's no law in Australia. The government is unlawful, and they're operating as a business. And they're basically doing whatever they want, selling everything. And every day we're being ripped off, and quite substantially too. But anyway, I wanted to move on. Now, I believe I'm a targeted individual, and I have been all of my life, and I think I know why now. And I'll show you how they do it and who's involved, and I'll tell you why I think I'm targeted. So last year, 6 armed police turned up my doorstep. We got a eviction notice. The house is rented through DHS. And the 28th of November was the last day I could be there, and then I was going to be evicted. DHS turned up on the 24th of October with an emergency application for accommodation for the children. And they only have 1 day to go to court. So that's why they turned up on the 24th. Because they only had that Friday, because apparently on the Monday I mightn't be there. But anyway, that was the eviction didn't go through. So now they've got a legal dispute on their hands because they were hoping I would be homeless. Pretty fucking rude, isn't it? Whoops, there we go. Now, at the same time, I received a letter from the Taxation Department. As you can see down there, look, $1,000 for every breach, $5,000, up to $525,000. So they just decided that they were going to have a review of my 2001, 2003, 2004 tax returns. And I spoke to this lady and I just said, listen, that's 16, 17 years ago. I said, my lawyer doesn't even hold records for more than 7 years. And she went, oh, okay, I'll sort it out now on the computer for you. I thought, oh, thanks very much. Alright, so now I've been given another eviction. But here it says, commence and complete, 2nd to 3rd, 2021. But they want me out now. They're threatening me with a lockout order. They said, we're going to have the police come around and remove you. They like to rely on the police to do their policy enforcing. It's not the law, policy. Tenancy policies. Now, DHS claimed that I was neglected because I didn't give my children their medications. Now, the mother refused to provide them because she thought that I'd have to hand them back to her by withholding their medications. Now, in the DHS court report, on the 18th of October, Child Protection received information from Dr. that Mr. Bailey had been seeking medication for Grace on the 25th of June, fluoxetine, Prozac. My ex-wife has our daughter, 8 years old, on Prozac. And this Christine, she said she did not feel comfortable, if I can get that out of there, I don't want to say everything, making the prescription. That's right, she was horrified. She said she's never heard of an 8-year-old on Prozac. So, and she refused to provide that medication for my daughter. Now DHS claim I'm negligent for not giving it to my daughter. So, right. Now, Kate Robinson from DHS spoke with the same doctor on the 16th to the 10th. And Patricia from DHS spoke to my doctor on the 22nd. So DHS rang these doctors and told them, do not provide medications to the children unless the mother is present. So they're effectively telling my doctors not to give me medication, and then they're trying to take me to court saying that I'm not giving the kids their medication. Is this making you fucking angry? Because it's fucking making me angry, mate. Right, so this is how they do it. The DHS make phone calls and send letters in the background. DHS rent the house so they can get rid of me, even though it's not being destroyed until next year. But they want to put the pressure on me. They want to make me homeless. Now, at the same time, my doctor refused to prescribe the medication I'd been on for a number of years for 3 broken backs and surgery. And I ended up in hospital. So what do you think these phone calls were about? Alright, that's another story, I'm getting sidetracked. But that was another attack. Now, I have a head injury. Now, I thought it was from a car accident. I got run over when I was 23 by a drunk driver. I got thrown up the road, hit the ground pretty hard, twisted up my spine, broke a few vertebrae, and I thought I had a head injury. I was unconscious for a period of time. But when I moved to Victoria demanded that I go back on the medication for epilepsy. But I never had epilepsy because I never had a traumatic brain injury. I've had a hemorrhage from when I was young, because there's no record of me being in hospital having a hemorrhage. And he even states here in his report, it's an underlying lesion such as a cornova, and there are no other brain lesions indicating of brain trauma. The explanation for the bleed is uncertain. Now, I've had to deal with this fog in my mind all my life, and I'm pretty sure I know where it comes from, so bear with me, we'll get there. But this is the hidden hand, alright? I go to him. Victoria Roads refused to give him my licence unless I actually go back on the medication, even though the doctors have said no, he doesn't need to be on it and he's been safe to drive for years. They just demanded it, so they were refusing to give my driver's licence. But this doctor, look what he says. Contacted me 6 regarding a report indicating he was fit to drive a heavy vehicle for work. Now he's highlighted that in the things. As you know, he's on disability support pension. He told me he owned a truck, but he said it sold it a year ago. I know he allowed himself to run out of Tegretol just prior. Therefore, I'm not going to approve his heavy vehicle licence. So this bastard made a judgment call, because obviously he's highlighted his reasons, because he thinks I'm on disability pension and driving, and I need my driver's licence for work. So he's just decided, despite the facts, he's not going to give it to me. So that's how the hidden hand works together. They make judgment calls on us all. Now, like I said, I was in a boys' home at 4 years old. It's for no fault of my own. And when I applied for these records that they gave me, this is my life here in care. They asked me where do I remember being, and I listed these places, and then they got me these records. Now, if I hadn't listed them, I don't think they would be there, because basically the first place I was sent to, I remember being there, and it's written in pen, in handwriting. But every other placement is typed. Now, except for this one. Now, I remember being in that one, I remember going there, I remember the first week of going there, I remember interacting, I remember being basically bastardised, punishments, and, you know, it was an army camp, and I'll show you that in a minute. But they've written that in there. They've kind of messed the dates up a bit, because apparently on the 12th of the 5th, I was sent somewhere, but then 22nd of the 7th. So where was I for 2 months? I was here. And I remember being there. And the day I remember I sat down at the table in the communal kitchen. We said our daily prayers. And before you could eat, my name was called out to go and see a doctor. So you had to get up from the table, go straight to the doctor without having any food. Now, why would you have to have an empty stomach and go and see a doctor? Now, I don't remember seeing that doctor, and I don't remember anything after that until I was at the next place. Then I start to remember things again. But according to these, 29th, so for 4 months, I don't remember where I was or what was going on. I remember the first week, I remember going to school, I remember being part of the work detail, I remember getting in trouble, having to scrub pots, peel potatoes, polish floorboards, getting whipped by the school teacher in the closet, all that sort of stuff. But then it's just one big blank. So for 4 months, I don't remember it. Now, I'll just find this other one. Now, this place I was sent to, there's your records. Inmate's history card. Oh, fuck, I just showed you my name, didn't it? Ah, fucking do. Who cares? Inmate's history card. So that means you're an inmate. They send you to these places and they call you an inmate. On the other paperwork says committed to, you know, the court stuff says things like, it doesn't matter, convicted and all of that stuff. So, anyway, since I was 14 years old, I've been having episodes in my sleep where I have electricity coursing through my head and my body's paralysed, and it's not that sleep thing. What is it? Yeah, whatever. That's not it. And I still get it even to today, and I've learned to live with it. And once the electricity starts coursing through my head, there's three entities in the room holding me down. So I basically think they're repressed memories. I think they did electric shock treatment in me in 1971. And I think when that didn't work, they gave me a frontal lobotomy when I was 5 years old. And that's why I can't remember anything from that place. So I'm listed in the Commonwealth Employment Agency as a government agent. So what does that mean? I said to someone once, what do you do? And I said, I'm a government agent. He said, oh, God, good to meet you. He goes, oh, we don't meet you guys very often. You don't identify yourselves usually. He said, but it's good to know someone from the courts are here. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Apparently government agents work for the courts and they don't identify themselves and they just go around society and gather information or something, or talk to people, I think. Anyway, I never signed a form. I haven't received any holiday pay or superannuation. So I don't really know what the hell a government agent means. But basically I think I'm part of some long-term study, some long-term medical program or something. And every interaction I have in society where there's a computer system, there's something marked on my file, and that government agent might be the clue. And if I go and see a government department or engage with them, first time or on the phone, it's like, yeah, look, we've got this service and that service and we can help you with this and that, and sure, come on in. And then when I go there the second time, it's all changed. You just get this standard company policy of, oh, sorry, no, we don't have that. No, you don't qualify. You're not eligible, and it's a totally different reception compared to the first time. It's all of a sudden all the doors are locked. No, can't help you. Sorry, no, nothing we can do. And I usually get three types of responses. There's one that I get, they just constantly repeat the same company policies over and over again. You just cannot get an answer out of them. And they just refuse to be drawn into a decent conversation. They'll just go, no, look, I'm busy, I've got to go, right? No, look, that's it, sorry, I can't do anything, bye. And then others get angry with you. And, they almost threaten you and want you to go away. I confuse that with they thinking they're authority, but no, basically something on your file says, no, don't help him, don't do anything, get rid of him. And then the third one is the apologetic person. They act a little weird and they talk softer, and they apologise a lot. Oh, look, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And they're looking around over their shoulder to see if someone's watching them or who's nearby, and they lean forward and they'll say, look, I'm really sorry, okay? Look, just good luck with everything, and I hope it works out, okay? And you can tell they're like, shit, I'm told to get rid of you, and I feel bad about it. You know, it's really obvious, and I've been encountering this all my life. Everything I do, everywhere I go, and I don't know why. You know, I always thought, what, why? You know, shit, I'm sounding like a dickhead now, but yeah, they did something to me. I'm part of some program, some fucking medical experiment. They've damaged me, and they've closed the whole of society off to me as much as they can, and they continue to do so. And I suppose if I want anything to get through, I want people to realise that, you know, there's different subjections to this reality. You know, like if you grew up in a normal house and you went to school and, you know, you're going all right, you got a job, good for you. I'm glad things are working all right. Right, but the guy standing next to you or walking past, his subjective realities can be a fucking nightmare. It's at every turn there's people, no, can't do it. You know, just closing off doors, being indignant, even aggressive and violent. You know, there's absolutely no, anytime you have any dealings with the law, they're just over the top, aggressive, trying to just charge you and throw you in jail, throw you on the ground. You know, whereas another person would go, oh my God, that's just crazy. Oh, but then other people look at it and think, oh yeah, he must be a bad guy. So we've got two battlefronts. One is the personality, where people just judge another by how they look. And then we have another battle where they're sending letters to each other. They're judging you without the facts, but they're making a personality. He's basically saying that I'm committing a crime against the Commonwealth, so he's going to administer his own little bit of punishment. Yeah? These DHS people, they're making a judgment call on my character, and they're deciding to interfere with my movements and prevent me from doing things. And then you have, just to give a little bit more stress and a little bit more anxiety to the situation while you've got all these other things and you've just had your children taken from you, we're going to threaten you with big fines. And then while that's going on, we're going to make you homeless. And we're going to tell you on the phone, if you don't move, we're going to have the police come around and remove you. All right, now, who else is subjected to these sorts of treatments? What the fuck did I do? What crime have I committed? What club do I belong to? None. But you know what? It's been around. I was brought up, I detested violence. I would help stick up for other kids. I would fight injustice wherever I saw it. And I was probably the most non-violent, caring person I'd ever known. And I've been surrounded by violence all of my life. And now I'm accused by DHS and my ex-wife of being violent and a pedophile on my own fucking children. It's absolutely disgusting. And they won't listen to reason. Even when the facts are put in front of their faces, they still act as though I'm the bad guy. Anyway, like I said, that was a pretty hard one to do. But this is the system. This whole system, it can guide your life and help you, or it can completely destroy you and take everything from you. And this is the war we're in. And it's the government, and I'll give you an example. The Bible that social workers use in Britain was written by a convicted pedophile. So even the DHS and the child services, their whole model is based on pedophilia. How to isolate children, how to remove the father, how to indoctrinate the children into allowing others to come in and just take whatever they want, unjustified. It's just we're an authority and we're going to take it. You know, this is the indoctrination. And it goes back to the orphan trains and the reset. You know, they got rid of all the adults, they brought in all the kids, all the cities were empty, and they brought in a whole heap of new kids, and they just treated them like slaves. My great-grandfather was in charge of a missionary down there in Tasmania in 1850. He was accused of being brutal and terrible to the Aboriginals, or originals. However, it came out that they were setting him up. They didn't like him because he was actually kind to the originals. Apparently he was teaching them how he would allow them to wear their native dresses. They were allowed to sleep out in the bush. They could make fires, and he was trying to teach them commerce by getting them to trade for tobacco and sugar and flour. And the other soldiers didn't like it because they were stealing all the rations that were supposed to be given to the original peoples. So here in Australia we have this classic event that in England they were instructed to negotiate with the originals, buy land, purchase it at a fair price, and to treat them with all dignity and respect. And they came in and slaughtered them. And then all the supplies that were requested to pay for the land and to house them and to help them, they were put into their own pockets and made them wealthy. And guess what? We were 16,000 miles away. No one knew what was going on. And by the time they did, it took 6 months to sail back to England. And you know what? People had accidents too. I mean, that Point Pier, you know, children as young as 8 flogged with a cat and nine tail. They died. They didn't get out of there. The only ones that did get out of there, they just said, how far do you want me to bend over? They probably copped the flogging for asking. They should just automatically do it. So this attitude that's being promoted, that someone else is an authority over another and can just take whatever they want, whenever they want, and you just have to do it, and you have no remedy or recourse. This is the system that's being promoted. Now obviously there are those who do know their rights and they do protect themselves, but there's many, hundreds of thousands of us forgotten Australians, and we were told nothing. In fact, we were just beaten and abused and treated as slaves, and we still are. And like the Pauline Hanson last week, Black Lives Matter, they didn't vote against, they voted against it. They don't care. They've got their fat pensions and they don't give a shit. In fact, they would rather we just end up going away and die. And the family law court's the biggest defathering institution in Australia. Alright, I'll leave some links and do some research, because 28 leading names in Australian history, the former Prime Minister, head of the Legal Services Commission, Police Commissioner, all named and shamed in a pedophile Wood Commission. They've not been charged. They've sealed the records for 30 years. They're still in the job. One of the judges named, still in the job. He closed the court. The guy he was making a judgment against was a pedophile. He gave the daughter back to him and announced that pedophilia should be legal in Australia. Now, these are all Freemason de Molay, private school educated, Knox, Kings, Barker, all of them. They all come from the same Freemason de Molay system, and they have all the top jobs. Now, what did he say in sealing the records? It's because the Australian public would lose faith in our legal system. So they decided not to charge them and not release the records. Because all of them at the top, no, most of them at the top, they're all in the club. And me and you aren't. We're the victims of them. They live off us and they create our misery. And all the doors are shut. And they just hope you go away quietly and die. Well, I haven't done that and I'm not about to. So, anyway, I'm going to finish this video on 30 minutes and 33 seconds just for the AI. Cheers.